I guess that one of the most unpopular pieces of legislation of the last 5 years that's certainly been talked about a lot around Wyre Forest and further afield is what's come to be called the bedroom tax, the spare room subsidy. I read on a Conservative Party website that the claim that Gordon Brown started the spare room subsidy back in 2008. Is that right?
I think there's a little bit of a red herring here. I think Gordon Brown did introduce some legislation which was, when it came to housing benefit with private renters, it was an attempt to move people from more expensive properties, private rented properties, which perhaps they didn't need as many rooms as they had, into smaller properties, and there was an attempt to bring a sort of financial incentive here. But what's happened since 2010, of course, is it's an attempt to get people out of social housing. You know, it's the attempt that if someone's in a 3-bedroom house and they're deemed to need a 2-bedroom house, then obviously they are taking a financial hit in order to encourage them to move. I think, all governments make mistakes, and this was a mistake by the last Labour government, because the problem that people face is the housing is simply not there. You know, people might live in a 3-bedroom house, and the government might determine that they need a 2-bedroom house. But in a lot of houses, in a lot of areas, because we're simply not building enough houses in this country, you know, where house building is at its lowest level since the Second World War, then people simply don't have the option. Often in most areas there is a shortage of 1- and 2-bedroom properties, and people cannot move, they've got no option. And also I would say that when people have lived in social housing for a long period of time, they regard it as their home. And many people, rather than move, would accept the cut in their benefits in order to stay in their own homes. So I think the bedroom tax is wrong. You know, Labour has made a very clear commitment that it would be abolished. Now, on one level, who started the bedroom tax is neither here nor there. It's, is it right and should it be got rid of? And the Labour Party has been very, very clear that the bedroom tax should be got rid of because it is unfair, it hurts the most vulnerable in society, and it doesn't even save any money, because you've had situations where you might be in some social housing and you might then move, and the only accommodation you might be found might be a private rented accommodation. And the irony is the housing benefit needed to pay for the private rented accommodation will be higher than the property you're in initially, and so you're not even saving any money. And there aren't the houses for people to move into. And of course there are a number of stories. There were stories I was reading the other day where someone was in a 3-bedroom property in Wolverhampton. The only alternative they were given was a 2-bedroom property in Weston-super-Mare. So this is